Hello, amazing ladies. Welcome back to my channel. Mireille Nicole here, relationship coach. I help women who are struggling in their love lives find their happily ever after. And in today's video, I want to share with you some tips on how to make a man miss you. What are the secrets to making him either want you or want you back, want you more? So I'm going to talk about this particular topic from the perspective of whether you're in a relationship and maybe you feel that your man is distancing himself, he's not quite as emotionally available as maybe he used to be. And also from the perspective, this is also going to work, what I'm going to share with you, if you're looking to get your ex back or you're dating someone and again, he feels kind of distant and you kind of want him to find ways to bring him back in, obviously not from a space of desperation or because you need this person, but from a place of really determining if this relationship is meant for you and where it's going to go, right? So I'm going to share with you 3 ways to make a man miss you. Number 1, the first way to make a man miss you is to be fun, right? To be yourself. So men tend to bond over having fun. So having adventures together, going to events, having hobbies or things in common that you guys do together where you laugh and you smile and you go with the flow and you notice all the good things and you joke around and you're just open and adventurous. So men really like to have a good time. So the more you can have a good time with this person, the better it is. So obviously, I don't mean to fake it, but just in general, right? To really be fun to be around. And usually that comes from having a positive mindset, a positive outlook, and for doing a lot of things for yourself, to really put yourself first, then so that when you're with that other person, you know, you're really in your vibe, right? And you can really radiate that happiness from doing the things that you love to do. And this carries over to your relationships with other people, right? So you really want for this to focus on the self-care and really have your hobbies and really be clear on the things that you like to do so you guys can do things that you enjoy together. And then you carry those good, fun vibes and you're just fun to be around. So obviously the other person is going to want to be with you more. Number 2, you also want to be independent. And this is important for so many reasons, right? Even though you're in a relationship, you want to be your own person. You still want to have your own friends, your own hobbies. You still want to be that distinct person. And what happens for a lot of us in relationships is that we can accidentally or unintentionally lose ourselves in that relationship with the other person. And this is especially the case maybe if you're a mother, right? If you have children, you're in a relationship where, you know, you really have to take on a certain role. And sometimes you can lose yourself. You lose your sense of who you were maybe before you had children. And this can be any role in the relationship, right? And this is really obvious in cases where you get divorced. I know this happened for me, right? After my divorce, it was a matter of finding who I was again. I didn't know who I was again because I hadn't remained or kept that independence in my relationship, kind of that own person, right? Keeping who I am in the relationship. So you want to stay independent in many different levels, right? In your relationship, even having being able to do things that, make you happy without necessarily your man having to do that for you or being involved, right? You want to do things in terms of self-care, or even just making sure that you're in a good financial position, no matter what happens. Now, I'm not doing this, or I'm not suggesting you do this in a doom and gloom kind of way because you're expecting the worst. So you have to be independent just because in case things don't work out, but you really want to have that strong self of sense separate from the other person. And I don't mean that in the sense of being, hyper cold or hyper independent. That's usually, if you do that, that's usually a trauma response. You don't want to swing too far one way, but you do want to know that, you got your own back. You can pick yourself up. You're your own person and you're still self-reliant, right? As much as possible. Your relationship with the other person is a bonus because you're whole, you're still independent. He's just, the cherry on top. At the same time, this takes the pressure off of him, right? He'll want to be with you because he wants to be with you, not because there's any kind of over codependency in the relationship where he feels like you need him for something. So the more independent you are, the more you can create a space where he genuinely wants to be with you because you have the choice, right? You are your own person. You've got your back. You have all these different options for you. But at the end of the day, you guys are picking each other, right? And he doesn't feel that pressure that you need him and he has this responsibility to you. The more you can stay independent, the more that's going to create that attraction and that magnetism. And finally, number 3 is remind him of you. Now, I was trying to figure out how to kind of word this number 3, but what I mean by this is, and depending if you're in a relationship or not in a relationship, it kind of applies differently. But at the end of the day, what I mean by this is that you want him to remember things about you, right? Fun times together. You want him to, go about his day and see things that remind him of you. So if you guys are together and you feel like he's distancing himself a little bit, what you can do instead of, kind of checking in and trying to get him to respond to you is to send him a picture of something that, a great time that you've had together or something you see that reminds you of him. Or it can even just be of things that he likes. And again, that's something too, that's not something that I've used personally. So I always hesitate to share things I haven't used personally in terms of getting someone back, but that's something you'll see a lot of relationship experts out there suggest, right? So if you're no longer with someone and you kind of want him back, when it comes to reaching out again, which is always the big question, how do you reach out again? How do you initiate that contact? A lot of times they'll suggest to just, send a little reminder of, something you guys did together, something that you've experienced that day that reminds you of him, or something that you guys used to do together or you had in common, some sort of reminder. And this is something I talk a lot about to women who are working on rekindling that flame in their relationship. So a lot of times the more day-to-day life just gets in the way and kind of impacts the passion and the love in the relationship. One of the great ways to start bringing things back is to remind yourself, first of all, of the good times that you've had together, and also remind him. Remember your love story and bring it up every now and then. Or, like I always talk about how me and my husband, we live close to a coffee shop that we used to always go to in the beginning of our relationship. So every time we drive by that coffee shop, maybe not every single time, but, oftentimes we'll drive by the coffee shop and I'll make a comment. Oh, do you remember when we used to go there? And I can see my husband kind of light up and the memories, start coming up, and those feelings from back then also start coming up also. So we're both reminded of those amazing times together, and it reconnects us. It just brings that bond again much stronger, or it keeps it strong. So make sure to be really open about the things that you do like, right? When you guys are doing things, what are some things that you really notice when you guys are out? What are some of the things he likes so that you like, so that he really knows, right? So then when you're not around, he's going about his day and he sees things that might remind him of you because you've called that you like this particular TV show or this ad on the radio or this kind of coffee, right? He goes to the coffee shop and he hears someone else order, the cup of coffee that you would always order, and then it reminds him of you. So this is a great way to get someone to remember you and to miss you, right? If he could have these positive memories, you want to create as many positive memories with someone as possible, so that obviously they're going to miss you, right? Because they're going to be reminded of all of the fun that you guys had together. So just as a recap, right? Number 1, how to make a man miss you is to have fun together, be a fun person, take care of yourself so that you show up in the relationship and you're just a great vibe, a great energy to be around. Number 2, stay independent. Don't be too independent, but continue to have your own interests, have your back, be, self-reliant, but open to a relationship so that it's really a mutual partnership where you guys are both two strong individuals, but that choose to come together, not because you have to, but because you really desire to. And number 3, express what you like, make him remember you, bring up memories so that, it's always fresh in the top of his mind. And so that when he sees certain things, he gets reminded of you. So that's what I wanted to share with you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, comments, please leave them down below. I get back to all of my comments. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't yet subscribed and you love this content, make sure to hit that subscribe button and click on that notification bell. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.